You gotta think about, somebody else in the space sudden deciding to do something crazy, something being released in April.
A new protocol.
Could be.
Well, you see, yeah, who's doing that, I wonder?
Think about that though. Think about how huge that would be for the space.
So something like that, could be huge.
But I do think it's going to be something that we're not expecting, and it's just going to happen out of the blue, and it's going to be like, bam, here it is.
Yeah. What do you think is going to be the thing that really, powers adoption?
I really think it's going to be a singular event, in my opinion. It's going to be something that we're not really expecting, and it's going to be something that kind of hits us from out of the blue. Like as we saw recently with Twitch, like it clicked for them all at once, and the light bulbs went off. And I really think it's going to be a singular event that turns it. It's just going to be a pivotal moment where everything kind of changes and the influx of people come in all at once. Hello and welcome back to the show. Today we have the founders of the Women of BSV joining us, Diddy Weldon and Ruth Heisman. Welcome to the show, ladies. I'm very excited to have you joining with me today. How are you guys doing?
Good, thanks. Thanks for inviting us on.
Well. Yeah, very well, thank you. Thank you for inviting us, Brittany.
Definitely.
Looking forward to it.
Awesome. Well, I was kind of hoping that maybe you could start us off with a little bit of information about how the Women of BSV actually started. Like where did it all begin, and how did it begin? How did you ladies come together and form this amazing group?
Go on, Diddy, you tell it best.
I tell this bit because okay, so basically me and Ruth met years ago before BSV, but Ruth can tell that story. The reason that the Women of BSV started is because of Shem Booth Spain, who used to have has the BSV channel, who is the CEO of Blaircast. And I used to watch his show quite a lot. And he asked me basically if we can get some of the girls, the women that are new, together to come on his show. So we managed to get 7 of us. I think this was June last year. So there was myself, Micah, Ruth, River, Casey, Ava. Am I missing anybody? So it was like 7 of us. So we came on. So River, Ruth, me, Micah, Ava, Casey.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
I'm sure there was somebody else, but yeah. So yeah, we went on.
Was Robin in there or Rory?
Rory, it might have been Rory. Was it Rory? I can't remember, to be honest. It's a year ago.
It was Rory from the start, yeah.
It was it? Okay. So we all went on to Shem Show, and we had a good old chin wag and a good old natter, and it's kind of started from there, to be fair. And it's growing from strength to strength. Well, hopefully it's going from strength to strength. So yeah.
Did you want to add on that, Ruth?
Well, I mean, yeah, I think the thing was, it's quite a male-dominated thing, isn't it? And so it was, but like everybody in BS is really nice, so it's not like that's a problem really. But it is nice to hang out with women, and like we do hang out, don't we? So I think from that perspective, it felt a bit more like just, a bunch of friends having fun together. So and having a lot of laughs and conversation, and hopefully that's going to kind of draw people in as well who maybe are finding the whole thing a bit intimidating, or they want to know more, but they don't necessarily want to go right into the deep end, so they can come and visit our channel first and get a bit of a flavor of what's going on without feeling too overwhelmed by all the technical stuff. If you dive straight in with theory of Bitcoin videos, grade level, it's a lot, right? So I don't know. I think we were just formalizing probably what was already happening anyway, which was we were talking to each other a lot. Yeah, my computer's giving me weird error messages. And we've been really enjoying ourselves ever since. And it kind of does go from strength to strength because we just seem to, you know, be on quite a nice roll with it now. And I don't know, I've never had so much fun actually.
So where do you see yourselves taking Women of BSV from now and moving into the future? What's the goal? And what exciting things are you ladies working on right now?
Are we allowed
Do you want to go with
that? Okay, so what was the first question? Where do we see ourselves going in the future? So we do have a website, and we do have a Slack channel, and there's quite a few conversations go on there. So one of the aims is to kind of help educate people, obviously, that don't know a lot about Bitcoin, about BSV, but obviously in the right way, not the wrong way. I mean, we've had 2 NFT drops, we've got a bit of merch, etc. But when it comes to what we're working on, we're collaborating with Ryan X Charles on a project, and I don't want to go into too much detail until we've got something that we can show people, because obviously we can let Ryan and Casey talk about that.
Was that the project that Ryan and Casey came on my show and was talking about?
Yeah.
So there's movement.
Yeah. So you have, so you do know a little bit about what Ryan's been working on. So we are working with him on that, which is a great thing. And then, I mean, we do have a lot more interviews lined up. We've been doing 1 interview every week, which is released on a Friday, and then we started doing live streams as well once a month. I tried to organise with Shem Booth Spain as well, a music night, just to something different, because there are a lot of musicians in the space as well, and now the NFTs are taking off. That's something that obviously people, you know, it's a universal language. Everybody loves music, everybody understands music, and with the NFTs and places like Jamify, and the fact that Shem is actually building out Blaircast with Luke Mernack, that was something that I thought would be quite enjoyable, and it went a lot better than I thought it would do. So that was really good. It was really enjoyable night. Everybody had a great time, and we got quite a fair few more views than I expected. So that was good. So I'd like to do more of that in the future if it's possible, but not too many of them. So, and there are other things like for example, Craig has started a philosophy course, so I've been following that philosophy course and stuff, but I'm also doing a PhD as well. So I want to kind of, you know, I was aiming to try and get it done in a year, but everybody keeps telling me that's a mammoth task. So I was like, okay, well, maybe I'll just chill and just maybe do it over a couple of years instead. But the philosophy course running alongside my PhD, which is what I'm doing with Craig, fits really well, if that makes sense. Right. So metaphysics is something I really like as well, and acting and like theatre and ancient history, and you know, the economics and the Bitcoin side, and I'm learning more about law, so that is something as well. So that's on a kind of personal level, but it all intertwines to what we're kind of doing with Women of BSV moving forward.
Right. Well, you know, I believe you actually just launched your own NFT project with Fabric recently. What didn't you do that? What's it like working with the platform, and what's it like from a user perspective launching a project on the platform?
Okay, so it's really easy. I mean, I do digital art, and I'm better with like portraits. It's something that I've done for a long time. It's like do portraits of things, but I paint on the iPad. But these are actually acrylic. The ones that were released on Fabric are acrylic. So they approached me. So it's a really easy process, because literally they sent me an email and I sent them one back, and then I just the image sizes, the maximum is 12 megs. So I just took images of all of the paintings that I did, and then I split them into kind of like, there's 3 drops that have been at the moment. There's an X marks the spot, Aurora, Mountain Aura, Mountain Aura, and then there's this landscape. I'll show you one actually, because there's a landscape thing that's out at the moment. So basically it's just taking photos, making sure they're less than 12 meg, and then sending those over to Fabric, and they do everything else.
Oh,
They do
wow.
absolutely everything. So they do the marketing, they upload and everything. So it's a really easy process. And the drop that's out at the moment, I'm really shocked because I've had a couple of press releases as well, so I wasn't expecting any of that. So they do the marketing, they cover that side of things as well. So I noticed one of them has sold. I don't know who it's sold to yet, because I've not got an email to be able to send, you know, the
That's
product.
exciting.
But with these particular ones, they come with a it's you get the NFT and you get the physical painting, but it's framed. So for example, this is the one that's sold. I don't know who it's for yet. I've signed the back of it, so this is how they'll get it. It's
Oh,
like
how
literally
lovely.
it's acrylic ships on an ocean, so it could come in, like, you know, the frame and everything.
It's
And
really
that's
nice.
yeah, so that's what they'll get.
That's
So
awesome.
literally everything that I've done so far, it will, you know, that's how you'll get them. They will arrive in a frame. It will be a physical item. So yeah, I wasn't expecting you to ask me about that, to be honest with you. Yeah.
No, it's super cool. I saw it, you know, and I know that I think you even, Ruth, posted about it on Twitter, and I was like, oh, I want to touch on that. But as I understand it, Ruth, you're also pretty artistic yourself as well, right?
Oh, she's amazing. She's amazing.
Well, I did these NFTs in Halloween and Christmas, featured, you know, all the people I could think of almost, or all the people I could get around to doing, actually, is probably more accurate.
Most of them have been on the show as well as guests well. So if you come on the show, you will get immortalized at some point in some art.
Brittany, you are going to be in one of them. What do you want to be in? Halloween or Christmas, or both?
Even Easter.
I definitely want to be in Halloween. I'll definitely be in a Halloween.
Awesome. Well, you have to tell me what character you want to be, like, because I have a lot of fun doing it, honestly. But I mean, it's quite time consuming, but you know, it would be quite nice, along the theme of what Diddy's doing there, to have them printed up as cards one day. That would be cool. We could probably do that, but yeah, I do like the idea of these physical backed NFTs. Kind of brings it back into the real world again. It's kind of an added layer of interest, and I think they're quite nice to just sort of commemorate these times, which I think we are going to look back at when we're older and think, how cool was that? You know, I mean, think about it now, like, just, you know, the events that we're going to, that people were meeting. Then, you know, these things are probably going to become historically pretty important, I would say, at some point.
Pioneering.
So yeah, so to be able to kind of link that back to either an NFT or a physical object that kind of commemorates it is kind of cool. Speaking of which, where's Soshi Doodles these days? Like, we need Soshi Doodles back.
Yeah.
She does some fantastic work like that.
I was just going to say as well, but Ruth isn't just only an artist. She actually does websites as well. And she's been creating a couple of websites for people in the space as well. So
you can, on the websites you're creating, can you put up like a payment processor for to accept like BSV payments and BSV?
Yeah.
Oh, that's very cool. That's good to know.
I mean, this is the thing. This is one of the directions we're going to take Women of BSV in, actually, where we're going to, because we've all got quite an eclectic set of skills between us. And I think we're probably going to set up a sort of an agency function where we are available for hire as well. So, because why not, right?
Right.
You know, we're really enjoying working in the space. I'd rather work on a BSV project than anything else, frankly. You know, and as much time as we've got, I'd like to fill with this project work because it's so much fun. And it, again, like I say, I think it could be really important historically as well, you know, to get these alternative social media in place. I mean, we need it so desperately. It's not even funny. Yeah,
I agree. Weren't Ruth, you know, touching on that a little bit more, weren't you the one that helped design the Women of BSV's items for Duro Dogs?
Yeah. Yeah, that was a lot of fun.
What was the process
Yeah,
like
no.
working with Jackson and doing all that?
Dead easy, dead easy. You know, he just asked me to, and then I over delivered because I always did it. Like I came up with like 1,000 items when he really probably only wanted 4. You know,
What's the name of the collection again? I can't remember what the name of the collection was.
fabulous.
Fabulous, a fabulous collection by the Women of BSV. Oh
We
yeah,
could go deep on that. Like
got
I
a
could do that all day
unicorn
long.
horn and everything. It's phenomenal.
Yeah, no, I did loads of things, but like I mean, I think maybe the Women of BSV we probably need to come up with our own NFT like driven game project. I think that's definitely something we should do one of these days.
Yeah, I mean, there's something that you were working on was an electronic card game, wasn't it? Like that you were doing with the NFTs that had already been made.
I'm slightly
which is pretty
limited by my
cool.
programming abilities, to be honest. You know, perhaps we should get Ray on that. But like, I can get so far, but not like a Nifty Jakes Eurodogs sort of level. But you know, we'll see. We're working our way towards it.
Jackson's so chilled out. He's such a brilliant person.
Yeah.
Seriously.
I think it's better to over deliver than under deliver, though, right? And so
yeah, I get a bit carried away. Honestly, seriously. But it did make me realize, though, that this whole idea of NFT-based games is actually a really fun concept and something you can really, develop in all sorts of directions and probably bring into the real world a bit as well. You know, with merch and things like that. And so I'm really looking forward to. What's Richard Bose's Ninja Punk Girls?
Yeah, Ninja Punk Girls. Yeah,
I think that's going to be cool. And I think he's got plans for merch and stuff as well, hasn't he?
Well, tomorrow I'm going to London, which will be the 7th. So I don't know what Davis is going out, but I'm going to London, and that's actually for the Block Dojo event where the teams are going to be actually presenting for the picture, they're pitching their ideas and stuff. So Laura is there with her Plus app, and then Richard is going to be one of them with his Ninja Punk Girls as well. So I'm quite looking forward to that, and I will hopefully be able to get some video as well that can show people.
Well, that'd be really cool to get some like inside scoop on like the process and what it's like and to get that firsthand almost experience, so that should be really exciting.
Yeah. And I mean, didn't Robin say that they're setting up a Block Dojo in Miami as well?
I really hope so, because that would be good, because I think one of the things that Richard had spoke about was that right now you have to go to London to participate, and granted they give you some money to get over there and to live and to go through the process, but for somebody who has like a full-time job here in the States, getting off
kids, you can't just relocate at the drop of a hat. Not to mention COVID,
all the different things. Well, do you guys have future plans to continue working with like Fabric again in the future, or with Duro Dogs and Jackson Lasky, or and I know you mentioned Ryan and Casey, but it sounds like you guys are wanting to keep that a little bit more hush hush. So
it's just early days to talk much about it, and they're so eloquent anyway. They'll let you know when they're ready.
Right.
We're having a lot of fun, aren't we?
Yeah, I mean, I do have more paintings.
I bet.
If you need another drop, I do have more paintings. I have plenty of them. If there might be 4, we'll see. I mean, I've produced a bit more music recently as well, so that might kind of get put up onto Jamify. I've got 2 on there at the moment. I'm not the best musician in the world, I will admit that, but I do like my little tracks that I produce every now and again, so I've been trying those out. Again,
it's worth mentioning that all the music we use in the Women of BSV videos is always Diddy's.
Oh wow, Diddy.
That one. But so I mean, this is part of what we're trying to achieve really with the Women of BSV, is to be fairly light-hearted, to showcase all the kind of creativity in the space, because like people in BSV are wildly creative people. Like there's just and it's every kind of artistic genre you can think of as well, and I think it just brings people in. What I'd really like to do, the real goal of Women of BSV, I think, is to reach out into the non-crypto world and drag some women in
Yeah,
that's really what I'm trying to do, but that's quite difficult. But I think the more of these kind of events that we can put on, and the sort of fun get-together style events as well, where people are just chatting and having a laugh, I think the more attractive it's going to be. Just trying to make it not intimidating, basically.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I know you guys mentioned that the Women of BSV kind of started with Shem, and Shem, if I'm not mistaken, and I think you said this earlier, is the creator of Blaircast. So when can we start? Have you guys heard anything about when he's finally going to get it up, and maybe you could start putting some of your music on there?
He's very cagey, isn't he? Diddy? He's like, it always feels like we're on the cusp of it, but he's not given anyone a date yet, I don't think.
Another 18 months.
No, I don't think it's going to be that long.
No, I mean, no, like Ruth says, I mean, we will know
close.
when it happens. It will be a bit.
It'll
the thing is, Dubai is coming up, so I am hoping that there will be something from Shem and Luke in Dubai as well. Because
that'd be cool.
I mean, Luke is a phenomenal musician.
Oh my
God,
God,
ever heard him?
Yeah.
He's absolute, and his voice like an angel.
Heartbreaking, yeah.
Oh,
incredible.
I would love it actually if Micah and Luke could do a collab together, because she's got a stunning voice as well. And she's always at a lot of events actually. She's been traveling the world all over the place promoting Smart Ledger and ticketing as well. So hats off to Micah, because I know it's exhausting when you're traveling all the time and you're doing as many flights as that. And she's in Dubai at the moment. So, but I would love to see a collab.
As well, shout out to Robin. She's now a Bitcoin ambassador as well, isn't she?
Yeah.
And I mean, she's so kick-ass. Like, she's like a whirlwind of energy, don't you think?
Oh my gosh, it's so exciting. She really lights up the room, it's so easy to talk to.
Like, she's got literally 5 times the energy I've got, I think. So
do you know Nate Linley from Ashcan Comics? Because Ashcan published it, because he did the 1,000 Blades series recently, and I was following that, and I kind of like bought a samurai every single week. I was team samurai every single week. And there was 12 weeks of basically, and Nate's doing these little videos, and he's got these cards that he's put together, which you can buy, but he's making a comic out of it. And there was an opportunity to basically be able to win 5 BSV after the 12 weeks, and then he's going to do a second series, and he's got this female samurai, and he's given her blue hair. Basically, because he's like, this is for Diddy, because blue hair, etc.
I reckon they're gonna there's gonna be some kind of figure of you made, like a physical doll, Diddy doll.
Well, I mean, as long as it's not a Ninja Punk girl with no clothes on, then that'll be fine. I can be a Ninja Punk girl with some clothes on, then that'll be all good. But yeah, don't, because like my head will swell, But no, that was such a lovely thing, because I really enjoyed the game as well. I don't know if you've seen it or not, but it's well worth sort of rooting out Nate from Ashcan Comics.
Oh, and speaking of Nate, have you seen KP Dad's coins that Nate designed?
Because Dad was on our show as well, and he's got the silver, the Bitcoins, which ends with a Z, and they're amazing. So it's an NFT that you can buy on Run, and that basically these are the physical items that you can get.
Oh wow!
He's
also
got one with the white paper. They're solid silver as well, aren't they?
Yeah, it takes me ages to get them out, but I do have them knocking around here on my desk.
Oh, those are so cool. Did that say tall on it? The 3 buildings says In-Chain Tall Bitcoin Association. Is that what it said?
Bitcoin is for plumbing, that one, I think, and it's like a diagram of. Yeah, it is. You're right. It's tall, nice. HST, gravity.
Oh, very cool. Very cool. Those are super
another
cool.
Great keepsake, physical backed NFT. Yeah, you can get that on eBay X.
It's like a those are a little bit more, those are going to be worth something, worth more in the future.
For
Not so much with
sure.
my, I've got old ant miners just sitting around, and everybody's like, why don't you get rid of those? They're just sitting collecting dust. I'm like, no, one day I'm going to put these in a museum or something, because all of this is it's important for the future of
No, it is. My dad used to have a punch card collection. Yeah, that's all. But all the punch cards all had beautiful different designs prints on them, weirdly. My dad always used to say, keep these because one day a museum will come and they'll want them. Not so much, but yes, I take your point.
It's fun to think about, right?
It is.
At least show my grandkids, this is what we used to mine Bitcoin. Oh, I'm sorry. That's a little off topic. I wanted to go back a little bit, Ruth. You were talking specifically about, outreaching our adoption and bringing people from other communities in. And sometimes there can be a barrier because, as both of you ladies were saying before, coming into the space, it's from any other crypto space, right? Any other currency out there, when your background is in that space and you're looking into BSV and you're wondering, oh, what is this capable of, and you try to dive into it, there's a barrier there because of it's so much more technical here in this space than it is in the other spaces, whereas there's just narratives in the other spaces that everybody parrots to each other. And yeah, I'm not going to say we don't have a little bit of that here as well, but there's actual technicals and fundamentals that are backing it all up.
And occasionally I go into those NFT spaces rooms, especially the women NFT ones. And I'm not to criticize the women because, anyway, they're doing what they're doing. They're enjoying themselves, and that's great. And that's enough, right? But they never, ever talk about the tech.
Yeah, it's very obvious that they don't understand the tech in any way whatsoever. Like sometimes it is or actually, so like I always think that if you don't at least understand the very basic fundamental of something, then you don't really understand how it's going to work or why it's actually what it is.
They must be losing money because of it. I mean, you think about all the kind of fees they must be paying on Ethereum and to all the NFT websites that are probably gouging them as well.
And their NFTs aren't even on chain. So
no, and I think this is something they're not even aware of. Because they don't understand it in that respect. And I'm not saying everybody. I mean, there's a lot of people that do, but there are a vast majority of people that just think, oh right, yeah, okay, I'll do this, and it's sort of they just don't. They don't get it. It's like BTC and BSV are so different. If you read the white paper, then you'll understand that BTC is no longer a hash chain of signatures, and therefore it can't be a coin. It's not even a coin. So how can it be called Bitcoin when it's got nothing
There's
in
no
it
resemblance.
Actually is? Yeah.
So what would you say to somebody coming into the space brand new, wanting to learn more about Bitcoin? What would be the first thing that you tell them?
I always say the theory of Bitcoin, but then people go, look at me, oh my God, it's 50 hours. It's a really hard one because I said, like previously, I've said this. It took me like 4 years to get my mum to download a Handcash wallet. It's like, and it's almost like people glaze over because they don't get it in any way whatsoever. And then when you do say Bitcoin, then they inevitably go off on BTC, and then I don't know, because I've not actually spoke to like I've not been out to speak to anybody recently that's not within the space, if that makes sense. So the people I'm talking to actually now know
already get it.
They have a little bit. Just talking about something, if I hope you cut some of this out because I'm like but it's a hard question because I have tried to speak to people in the past about it and they didn't get it. They didn't understand it. But now it's more in the news about identity and things. A lot of people have taken that the wrong way because they think they're going to be trapped into the CBDC side of things. But when you explain to them the technology, and for example, we were having a chat the other day, you can buy, say like you went to a hardware store and you buy a bunch of nails. You can't buy one nail. You have to buy a big bag of nails, right? So you have to pay like a couple of quid to buy a bag of nails. Now I want to buy one nail, so why can't I buy one nail for a penny? Yeah, well, you can't do that with BTC, but you can do that with BSV, because if you tried to buy something with a penny with BTC, the fees are just going to be more than the actual item, so it's not worth it. Whereas if you want to buy something with a penny with BSV, then you can do, because
it's all possible.
And that's one of the ways around sort of being able to explain the micropayment side of things, and how efficient and how much that will help a business in respect of being able to just do more trade, basically. And a lot of people don't understand the transparency. I find that the people who I know that know a little bit about accounts think it's great because it's a triple ledger accounting system, so they get it like quite easy, so it's not hard to explain to anybody in accounting. When it comes to actors that I've known, it's like it's just a different world completely, and it's not something that a lot of them are interested in. But when you say you can do like NFT tickets, and then you could go to a theater could have NFT ticketing, and that would actually save the money in that way, and just a paper basically as well, then they kind of start to understand the potential and things. But
can I jump in, Diddy?
Yeah, of course you can.
I was going to say, before I forget it, because I have a tendency to forget what I'm thinking about, but one of the ways that I would talk to people about it is by referring to the central bank digital currencies that are coming in at the minute, and pointing out to them that whereas with that, the government could literally switch off your money at any given moment, or decide what you can spend your money on.
Right.
The difference with BSV is that we've got this SPV wallet system that you can then basically send money directly to another person who then settles on chain. And so there's no sort of man in the middle attack. And I think when people are starting to see it coming on the news and people talking about what's going to come down the pike in future, then it will start to make more sense to them to be interested in the intricacies of the different cryptocurrencies and what they're actually offering. But we're going to have to go out there and explain it. Like, I think we're going to have to really push hard to explain this, because cutting through the noise is really hard. But that's another thing we should perhaps do with the Women of BSV, is to make some explainer videos, so that when these things are inevitably dropped, into reality, these CBDCs are coming now, then we'll have some videos there immediately available, hopefully, to explain why not all cryptos are created equal, not all digital currencies are equal, and there really are better and worse ones.
Yeah,
so
I mean, I've got there's a lot of articles actually that I've been given permission to actually do voiceovers for, so we can just like an audio version of a couple of articles. So that's kind of something that will probably get done in the pipeline as well, but a lot of those explain kind of history, economics, fundamentals and things, so hopefully they would help.
That's one of the things I really like about Rory too, right? Rory's one of the Women of BSV. We did an Atlanta meetup here for the last 2 weekends in a row. And last weekend, with Josh and some other great people, Jimmy Bitcoins. And last weekend we had a couple of people come out, Brenton Gunning being one of them. That was super cool to meet him. But we were walking around the Marietta Square, and we were going from like bar to bar to bar type deal, and there was this open area with a bunch of like food trucks and that sort of thing, and Roy was just walking right up to the food trucks and asking them if they knew about hand cash, and tried to onboard the food trucks to hand cash. And I'm like, Rory, I love this about you because you're putting it into practical use, practical applications. And one of the guys behind one of the food trucks even said, "Oh yeah, I know about Bitcoin." Obviously, he was thinking about BTC and not BSV, but that's a whole other topic. And so while it's great to be out there in the real world trying to promote all of these fabulous products that we have here on the real Bitcoin, it stinks because there's still that barrier and language and lack of education about what Bitcoin is actually capable of doing, and getting people to understand the differences between, say, BTC and the real Bitcoin. It can be challenging, to say the least. So
uphill, definitely, yeah. But like, we must do it though.
Yes,
we must do it.
Yeah, there's going to be some very confused people in the future, I think, when they hit that barrier.
Well, so let's see. What is the most important lesson that you've learned from one of your guests so far on the Women of BSV? What's your favorite thing that you've learned so far?
Learned so many things. I learn something new all the time off people.
What's something you've learned recently?
Oh my God, that's such a tough question.
It is a tough question.
I mean, everyone's got something really unique to offer and say, because they've all got totally different skill sets and experience. One of the things that immediately jumps to my mind is whenever Charles Miller interviews us, he always makes me sort out my lighting and positioning. And I mean, it's totally non-Bitcoin related, but he's really good producer. He's like, he'll get absolutely the best out of you. He's incredible. But like, I think probably a lot of it's the Bitcoin related stuff is the entrepreneurial advice, and watching people succeed and get stronger and develop their product and keep going and keep attacking the market. So I think there's just a lot of tenacity and intelligence. Trying to think of a specific piece of advice today. Can you think of a specific?
I've got a helicopter. Just bear with me a sec while the helicopter goes past, because it's really loud. Can you hear it?
A little bit.
No, actually.
Yeah. All right. It's really. Well, I was going to say, actually, thinking of it, GitHub. Okay, I'm not overly familiar with GitHub, and I got introduced to GitHub, so that's something that I've learned recently, is how GitHub actually works, and all the issues and stuff when people are actually working together as a team and developing things, and how they actually work on how the developers actually work with that. So that's been a steep learning curve for me, because it's not something I'm familiar with in any way, what was shaped.
Yeah, no, and it's pretty esoteric as well, GitHub. I think Joshua Hensley is probably the most educational, the most instructive.
One of the things actually that I found fascinating was the fact that you can still transact with Bitcoin without being online, and that is phenomenal. Because that opens up so many more opportunities. If recently, we know with what the things that have been happening recently, there have been massive outages, with certain internet providers, etc. So if you can still transact without actually needing the internet, like, that's a major bonus. So that was something
you presumably would need the internet at some point to settle, right, on chain.
I'll have to go back and watch the video again. It was a while ago since I saw it, but I thought it was fascinating.
I mean, I think you can
really
transact
useful.
person to person, but then you would need to settle with the miners eventually.
Yeah, I would think so as well.
I think the thing with me is, as well, it's like there's so much information. It's almost like getting information overload. So you can know one thing one day and then forget about it about 4 days later, because something else is taken over to be absorbed in, and then things pop back. Like I tend to wake up at stupid o'clock in the morning with some thought about some Bitcoin related feature or something, and I'm like, or I'm not going to bed till 4 o'clock because I've just been reading loads of articles and stuff. So
but it's like a full 360 degree education, don't you think? being a
Oh, yeah.
Bitcoin.
And you know what is for free? And I have never been in a space where there has been so much free education that is so valuable. This is one of the things with Craig's philosophy course. This level of university education would cost a fortune, and he's giving his time for free to do that.
And that won't always be there.
It's priceless.
It's
What he's doing is a phenomenal.
Being able to learn what we're able to learn right now is not going to be there forever for free. Eventually, you know, like Robin's working with the University of Duke right now is in Duke. So I'm thinking to myself, educations on Bitcoin and blockchain are going to be so expensive in the future. Getting an education in it for free right now, just by looking through articles and watching podcasts or whatever. That's it's silly not to pay attention right now.
Courses too,
There's a guy called Jack Rogers who is at Exeter University, and he's got 640 students that he's literally, you know, teaching Bitcoin too. And these guys are, you know, I mean, 640, if you think that, you know, they absorb all that information, they're going to want to try and be entrepreneurs, a lot of them. So, you know, I mean, and exponentially, that's just going to grow and grow and grow, you know, because then there'll be the next year and the next year and the next year. So hopefully then it will be like, you know, 1,200 students, 1,800 students, and so on. And Laura also, I just need to make, because Laura's got a master's in cybersecurity, and she did a specific section about blockchain, Bitcoin in enterprise for cybersecurity. So her university lecturer, who had to go off and literally learn about Bitcoin before he could actually mark her paper, which I thought was phenomenal. So yeah, but yeah, she's amazing.
That's
amazing.
Cool. Wow.
And her product's really exciting too. Yeah.
Oh, do you want to elaborate a little bit on that real quick?
Well, I'm going to go and have a chat with her tomorrow. So.
Okay.
I think basically it's a charge by the minute sort of
freelancing.
What do you call it?
Kind of.
It is so that somebody can basically give out information and education. And say again, Daddy.
It's like consulting, but you can pay for
that's
minute
right.
by minute.
But it's actually automatically charging for you. So I mean, it's a really great idea, because I mean, I think about all those times, I don't know about you, where like the dishwasher breaks, or, you know, something that you really need somebody to help you with, like right now. You don't necessarily need them in the house. I mean, YouTube videos are great and everything, but sometimes you just like need to ask somebody a question.
To a person.
And for people to be able to offer their skills by the minute,
that's cool.
You know, over the internet, it's like ideal, right?
Right.
I mean, it opens up so much opportunity, and also presumably to people who are all over the world as well. I mean, it, you know, if geographical location doesn't matter anymore, then, you know, the whole economy opens up.
Well, I guess touching a little bit more on that, but moving away from it in the same aspect, I was hoping to get your ladies' take on how do you see Bitcoin gaining mass adoption in the future, and what's something that everyone in Bitcoin should start or stop doing right now, in your opinion, and help make that happen?
Stop calling BSV as scammers, even though the Spacers is great. I think the scammers is a bad name. It gives us a bad reputation. I think it's I know it's an in-joke.
It's an in-joke, yeah.
Yeah. It's interesting, isn't it? Because there are so many different, like, for example, Rebecca Legero, she works for CoinGeek, but she's in the iGaming side of things, and you know, Kelvin with the gambling, and what they're doing, you know, is by getting those enterprises on board and teaching them about the technology and the opportunities that are available for the industry itself to be able to just, you know, use it to help them save and data and everything, the way that they deliver things. I think what she's doing is phenomenal, because she's in Dubai as well, and she does a lot of stuff with Jimmy Wynn as well, and these are high, you know, a lot higher ended people than myself, talking to presidents and you know, of countries and princes and, you know, these big billionaires and people who are movers and shakers in industry. The health care side of things with EHR data, you know, I still very much feel that we should actually be able to own our own data on our healthcare records, but I don't necessarily like the vaccine kind of side of things. So it's a bit up in the air at the minute with that. But accounting again is, you know, Invoice Mate is I think that will go a long way as well. Invoice Mate. So I mean, but gaming, like you know, the gaming side of things, for example, with Crypto Fights and Euro Dogs and Haste Arcade, I mean, you're seeing the transaction volume already that's on there, and you know, built by gamers and everybody as well.
Yeah,
so
games could definitely be the entry point for a lot of
and
people.
then when you think you've got in-game NFTs, and NFTs are already huge, you know, big anyway, then I think that's going to be a massive thing that's going to bring adoption. NFTs are really easy for people to understand, and when you consider how big the art industry is, that's one aspect, but then you consider how big the music industry is, and then how huge the gaming industry is, which actually is bigger than all of those industries combined, then that's where your mass adoption is definitely going to come through. I mean, even with Ted Riviera, who he's got My Movies. He's been working on a system for being able to pay micropayments for streaming movies and stuff. So, you know, I mean, he's got some really great contacts as well. So that's something that will eventually come into play in the market as well. But supply chain, even with Stefan Nielsen, you know, supply chain for... What's the name of the company? Stefan Nielsen's company.
Unisart.
Yes, Unisart. Now they're working on digital identity with the European Union as well. So I think that's going to be quite big in the future. He's got some really good moves and shakers as well that he's talking to. So supply chain, they're doing fish at the moment, but that's it. That's just one thing. Look how big the supply chain actually is, especially you get more, you know, food orientated supply chains. You look at the motor industry, or, you know, people like that, construction industry as well. We spoke to Maximilian from My Two Cent.
That was a fun interview.
Some of the things that he's been working on as well, and that again is a huge industry. It's great to know, you know, there are so many different people in so many different niche markets that are actually working on things that when they come together, you went, wow, you know, there is a lot going on actually. So
I think,
and just to be fair, the tracking and tracing side of things as well. For example, with crime, you know, again, you know, they did their Telltales, and their Telltales is literally like, you know, FBI kind of agents who are tracking all this, but it's actually, you know, this is based on reality. There are things that are actually happening for tracking and tracing criminal activity, money laundering and things like that. And, you know, the more, Casey mentioned this the other day, the more people that actually learn about how to track transactions, maybe they will just volunteer their services, or there will become some kind of new industry for just literally tracing and tracking of transactions, like forensic auditing on the blockchain. I think will be quite a big step forward as well.
Everything's already pretty public. Did an interview with Derek, who insists that Bitcoin is a mass surveillance type of system where everything is traceable. So if you interact with me and you send me Bitcoin, then I can see your transactions and whatnot.
I mean, if you're not doing anything wrong and you're not doing any criminal activity, so what? Like, I don't care that you can see my transactions,
right,
you know?
right.
But it's only the only people that are actually going to be worried about it is if they're actually physically, that if they're actually doing something wrong.
Right.
I also think it would be a great thing for the government to onboard for tax at point, or like VAT at the point of sale, to be able to split transaction that. So as a self-employed person, you do your own taxes, and you have to you kind of have to wait, and you pay it a year later. Well, why can't you just take that at the point of
right now? Yeah, that would really help.
Well,
it would help.
it kind of goes back to the conversation that I had with Jerry Chen at the end of last year, where Jerry was talking about why would we want to give BTCs more an anonymous type of structured system, right? Because of the cypherpunks that got a hold of it, and yada yada yada. Why would we want the government to have that type of the greatest technology ever created? Why would we want to give them that technology to use against us? Because as we've seen in the past, the government is definitely going to take whatever technology is created and use that against us
in greater possible way,
in greater capacity than we could ever use against them. So in order to negate that, that's kind of the brilliant thing about BSV, the real Bitcoin in that sense, is because if everything is anonymous, or I'm sorry, if everything is open and transparent, then that inherently is going to force the government to be open and transparent as well once it gets to that level. And so I think for me, that is the thing that makes the real Bitcoin. Of course, people are going to have their fits about it, and like, oh, well, I can trace it, and that's I'd rather have it work in conjunction with the government than to promote this system of anonymity and then have the government use that against us. They're going to do whatever they're going to do, and they're going to do it better than we could ever do against them. So why would we want to promote that, I guess?
And to turn the question back on you, Brittany, what do you think is going to be the thing that really powers adoption?
I really think it's going to be a singular event, in my opinion. It's going to be something that we're not really expecting, and it's going to be something that kind of hits us from out of the blue. Like as we saw recently with Twitch and a lot of the Ethereum users coming over and seeing what Web3 being created and what the Twitch guys are doing in this decentralized social media platform. And they saw it, and then it was like it clicked for them all at once, and the light bulbs went off, and then they were on YouTube 5-10 minutes later making tutorials on how to use Twitch. And I really think it's going to be a singular event that turns it's just going to be a pivotal moment where everything kind of changes and the influx of people come in all at once. Now, I don't know if that is going to be a Web3 application like Twitch, or if it's going to be a gaming platform, maybe like Duro Dogs or Crypto Fights, or if it's going to be something that we haven't even seen yet. But I do think it's going to be something that we're not expecting, and it's just going to happen out of the blue, and it's going to be like, bam, here it is.
No, that makes sense. Like a paradigm shift.
Yeah.
Like Elon Musk actually putting a BSV button on Twitter.
Think about that, though. Think about how huge that would be for the space.
Yeah, he's not going to do that.
No, I'm not saying he's going to.
He's
but
not smart enough to do that.
You gotta think about somebody else in the space just all of a sudden deciding to do something crazy, and then.
Well, I mean, for example, JavaScript with music, I'm going to mention this because I've been reading about this recently with HTML. So you got HTML, which is hypertext markup language. You got HTML, which is hyper music markup language. And that was Thomas Dolby. And Thomas Dolby was an 80s synth pop artist, but he was also in Silicon Valley in the 80s as well. And he actually invented auto-tune. And he was going to try and get an API kind of for the internet originally, but it ended up being for JavaScript. So therefore that meant that it wasn't just available for what PC or it was available for everything. And that was a phenomenal seem to like that word. That was a really big event where it was just one thing that allowed you to send packets of music over the internet, but he went to the right people and he did it with Java, so it meant that it was universal over the whole internet instead of just for one company. So something like that could be huge.
A new protocol
could be.
Well, you
Wonder
see,
who's
yeah,
doing that.
who's doing that? I wonder. You see, I do have great faith that Ryan, with his current project, is going to
He has
move
vision.
quite a lot of people. Yeah, but I don't want to. I'm not gonna. I'm project manager for Beaver Broadcast, which is for
Exciting.
Ryan and Casey. So, but I would rather them talk about their projects instead of
Yes.
me talking about their project.
Yes, I'd love to have Ryan and Casey come back on or come on your show and join you guys with you over there on the Women of BSV, either which way, and to talk about it a little bit more. Because I haven't really heard anything since January about the project since they last came on. So
They've got their head down now.
Yeah.
We're working on it.
Hardcore
Yeah.
coding.
but they
so,
said
yeah.
Casey had mentioned how she wanted to push something being released in April. So here we are, and I'm like,
Yeah.
where
Well, it didn't say
anything?
which April or whether it was going to be the front end of April or the back end of April.
No,
Said April.
it's not going to be that
No.
far away.
No, there will be something at the end of April that will be
super cool.
Again, I'm not telling you too
No,
much.
you're good. You're good.
Surprise,
The
but
prizes
yeah,
are
no,
the best.
there's a lot of work going on behind the scenes at the moment. There's a lot of development going on, a lot of meetings, a lot of coding that's happening, and it is great. It's great to see everything, but yeah,
Fantastic.
you have to wait.
Well, I hate waiting, but I can't wait.
Mm.
You should
Anyway.
come and join us on one of our live streams.
Oh, yeah,
Totally
that'd be
should.
fun.
Yeah.
That'd be fun.
Yeah, you did, didn't you, recently, and really enjoyed it. It's definitely a more the merrier situation with the Women of BSV.
Send me an invite next time.
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
you guys do send me a lot of invites, but I've been so booked up lately, so I apologize for that.
I'm sure. I mean, you're
don't worry.
Killing it, aren't you? You're kicking them out like crazy. So
Yeah,
you
no,
must be,
I have a question. What
Yeah.
tips do you have for us as the Women of BSV to be able to,
Yes.
gain more coverage at the moment, because you are killing it at the minute. You're putting us to shame.
No, I think you guys are doing a good job. I think there are a few things, just one-on-one, kind of off the cuff here, that I think that you guys could utilize to increase viewership. Is I like the way that you guys are doing your thumbnails. I think those are creative. But your taglines for the videos, right?
we don't do clickbait titles.
They're a little dry. They're a little dry.
Yeah, that's
and
true.
I will tell you, because I've been doing nothing but researching into this matter a lot lately. I've completely rehauled the way that I do everything, from video editing to how I tag my videos, how I make my thumbnails, and so on and so forth. Because
I love your snippet at the beginning, by the way. That's works lovely.
So the snippet at the beginning also matches the title of the video, because you have 15 seconds. If you're going to pull somebody in with your tagline and the thumbnail, and if your thumbnail and the tagline aren't catchy enough, you're not going to grab that random person off YouTube to click on the video. And then once they click on it, an hour and 3/4 or something, and then once they click on it, you have to give them some type of expectation that the reason that they clicked on your video is going to be in the video. And so in that sense, I'm pulling them in with a little bit of a clickbaity title. Yes. You've got the thumbnail picture. So if they click on it, within the first 15 seconds, you've got the clip that you're going to watch the rest of the video for. And then I'll roll the intro, and then we'll get into the video and so forth.
And I love how you showcase your guests in the intro as well.
Thank you. Yes, you guys actually had
cool.
TMWSO, I think his name, on the live stream when you guys did that. He helped me create, so shout out to TMWSO. He helped me create the intro. I changed it up a little bit. I changed some things because we didn't have Alex Agut in there, and I wanted to make sure that we had Alex Agut in there. Because Alex is so cool. Love him. He's cool.
Love him.
So
I admit I'm pretty boring when it comes to the titles, but I kind of like the fact that we're keeping a check on, this is who it is, this is the platform, and this is what number week
we're very straight, but maybe we're too straight, Lily. Perhaps
But
we
we
should.
also have other videos that we're going to put into the mix as well. So those ones would be great for the clickbait titles. I don't know. I just like, yeah, I am a bit rigid when it comes to stuff like that. It's like, you know, but that's a great
But if you
kind
think
of
about it though,
advice.
Britney's not false advertising. She's just doing it the right way. I mean,
Yeah,
I was just saying, I like the
I definitely think we
uniformity
could
of
learn
going,
from
this is
Britney,
interview
for
number
sure.
38, and this is, you know,
and it's kind of
the
dry.
name.
What's pulling your you know, like you guys have amazing content. You guys are providing valuable content. What's drawing them in though? Because if I just see something that says, oh, I'm interviewing Charles Miller number 38 or whatever, that's not very
like,
enticing for me, because it's like, what are you talking about? What's the topic of the conversation? You know, give me a little bit more.
But Joe Rogan does that, you know.
Feedback.
I mean, I'm not saying we're anything like Joe Rogan in any way
Joe
whatsoever,
Rogan also
but that's
has
exactly
a
what he
huge
does.
platform that's already super well established as well.
But
you know what I'm saying?
That's how isn't that how he started though? It's like literally, this is interview number 1, this is interview number 2, number 3, hashtag, whatever.
But it's easier to be the first one.
I'm not sure we can take tips from him though.
I think the thing is, I come from a professional background, and that's how you would, do you know what I mean? And it's very different from the social media background, where
YouTube
it is very dry.
Though it's not a professional platform. You know what I mean?
TV and film, whereas it's not about clickbait. It is, it's.
So for example, right here, the mystery behind Satoshi Nakamoto, Robin DeLisser dispels the myth, right?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
now you know what the conversation's about, who's talking with me, and something to draw in.
But it's quite hard to think of those things. I mean, it's definitely,
if you listen
you have to sit and ponder for a bit, I would think.
If you listen to a bunch of there's a bunch of really big YouTubers out there who talk about the best way to entice the viewers into watching your content, and they all say the same thing, right? You have to work just as hard on your thumbnail and your tag for the video as you did producing and editing the video. You have to put in as much time, equal parts.
Oh, yikes. Yeah.
And he's like, if you're not doing that, then that's probably why it's not doing so hot. And that's literally what they say.
She's right.
Do you also have a TikTok? Because we got a TikTok as well.
So I do have a TikTok, and I was working really hard on it when I had a lot of momentum behind me, October, November, December last year. And so I was putting out TikToks rather frequently, and I haven't really touched it since, but that is one of the many things that I've got on one of my note papers around here scheduled to get going and to do, because it's just one of me. And so that's one of the reasons that I'm super
that's another thing as well. There is actually a ton of work that goes into not only, you organizing everybody to be able to be available at the same time is one thing. Getting getting the guests is another thing. Editing the videos, doing the covers, like you say, getting, remembering to do all your hashtags and putting your things in the descriptions. And nobody ever reads the description box, even though there's stuff in the description box.
That's another thing that they say on the videos is you've got like that much text when they're viewing your video. And in that first sentence, you really need to put what's happening in your video. What's the topic? What's the, because people will read that text box.
No, that's a good point. But then it gets cut off at the 100th character or whatever. Yeah.
So you've got like,
and then you've got your
sentence.
social media as well. I mean, you've got your Facebook and your Instagram, you've got your TikTok, and it's like, it's never ending. And we were on BitChute as well. As
I do think Brittany's right.
And we also have the Spreaker. So the videos are then like literally, the audio is taken from the video and then that's uploaded to Spreaker. So there's about 9 platforms as well that we're on for podcasts as well. So when you consider, like you say, you consider the amount of work that it takes, and then you post everything up to all of the social channels as well. And if you're just one person, that's a hell of a lot of work that you do.
Yeah, are you ladies divvying up the responsibility of like?
Somewhat.
It's mostly myself.
Judy does most of the editing though. Yeah.
Diddy, you've got a lot on your hands. I know just how much work is put
I
into all of that.
I think, was it last week? I think the week before I did, like, I edited 6 videos, like
Wow.
full on, like
Mm.
2 hour, 2 hour, 1.5 hour
Holy
videos.
cow, that's a lot. That's a lot. I'm sitting on 3 unedited videos right now for when this one's done, and I'm like falling behind so
Mhm.
bad. I'm
Yeah,
trying to
I
catch
this
up, but yeah.
I'm finding at the moment that I'm running out of hours in the day, to be
Yes.
fair, as well, because there's so much going. There's so many, like, I've had to kind of stop watching certain videos so that I can actually, do. So I'm kind of feeling a little uneducated about what is going on recently, but more educated in a sense as well. So the news side of things and what's dropping and what's important at the moment, I'm kind of missing out on, because but actually learning more about the in-depth, and about everybody else in the space is something that's really good, and I'm absorbing a
Right.
lot, because obviously you don't just, you have the interview, but then you watch the whole thing again while you're actually editing it. So,
Mhm.
Yeah, it's a lot of work that goes into it. Trust me, I know. One thing that you guys, Diddy, I completely respect the way that you guys run the channel, keeping it super professional, super neat, super tidy. And if that's the way that you guys wanna keep it, I totally respect that decision. I was just offering some constructive criticism
No,
in that
really,
sense.
no,
it's
no, I think
brilliant
it's
But
great,
advice that we'd be
because
very
as
wise to take and listen to.
yeah, yeah.
I'm
I
serious.
don't,
I
but as
am
I
that.
say, there
Okay.
are a lot more, like, for example, like, I know I don't go to many events, but there are event videos that will be there. There's going to be there's like short kind of explainer videos, like you say, and then there's, like, we are slowly working on a verbal audio education series as well. So those are perfect for the clickbait titles. They're absolutely perfect for, but I
and
am a bit
I would
rigid.
do
I really
something
would like to.
inside the channel, the Women of BSV channel. I would talk to the ladies about it too, and say, hey, we've got this video coming out. We got to
Yeah,
think of a
come up with
title.
a
Everybody
title.
brainstorm and kind of pull
Yeah.
all the ladies in to help brainstorm and then figure out the best one. Because I find that a lot of the best clickbaity titles that I do are ones that I kind of bounce off other people and get their input and like, oh, what do you think about this? And then they're like, oh, change this word and capitalize that letter. I think that'll be
Mhm.
it, you know?
Wow.
So I would
No,
definitely say
that's
make
great
it like a
advice.
community type of deal so that you guys
Yeah.
can collaborate and work that together. And then it kind of takes some of the pressure off of you as well, Diddy. Because if you're already doing everything, the last thing you want to do is spend another hour
Yeah,
or two thinking
Yeah.
about the title
yeah.
and
Well,
while you're creating the
let's.
thumbnail. Like,
Can I go through what I'm doing? I'm making art. I'm making music. I'm editing videos. I'm a project manager for Viva Broadcast. I'm doing a PhD, and I'm following Craig's philosophy course while trying to arrange interviews. Yeah, so
Yeah.
it is quite a bit.
I
Um,
gotcha.
yeah, and then I go ice skating on a Saturday, and I still have some family that I want to see, and go camping and stuff. So yeah, it is
I hear
quite a
you.
bit.
I actually graduate at the end of this month
Oh, that's
with my
fantastic.
first bachelor's. So it's
Oh,
in
wow.
healthcare. I'll have a bachelor in science in health services management.
That's phenomenal. Well
So
done.
Do you think
Congratulations,
you'll go
you.
into it? Or would
uh,
you rather do crypto?
probably not. So it's one of those things that I started, and then about 2 years in, I realized that my real passion, my real drive was Bitcoin. And then the last year, I was like, okay, no, my real passion is the real Bitcoin, and
Mhm.
I want to do something with that. And hopefully, maybe there will come a time in the future where I'll help some type of healthcare company starting off in Bitcoin, wanting to create. Real world use cases like with supply chains and in healthcare and that sort of thing. Maybe I can help
Maybe
bridge
you could
that
be a
gap,
consultant. Yeah.
maybe. But as far as like actually going into the healthcare field and working with what I had originally intended to do,
Mhm.
there's like a 0% chance at this point. The only reason that I've decided to finish it is because I don't like leaving things up in the air. It's
No,
like, nope, I'm
Mhm.
no.
already here. I'm gonna finish it and get it done because
Not to
that's
mention the amount of money that it probably costs, right?
yeah. Yeah. And I just wish that I would have done something a little bit more useful with my time as far as going into coding or computer programming or something that would have helped my situation as it is in the career or the field that I really want to be in, which is
still a very
Bitcoin and
admirable
blockchain.
field, though. I mean, don't knock it, because you're going to have that qualification for life. So it's
always
still
something
pretty
to fall
good.
back on, right?
Yeah.
You should get Mandeep on, because he's got, he's phenomenal.
Oh,
He's
yeah.
a doctor, and he's a musician, and he's really into BSV as
He's
well.
actually
and he's got
on my
a token.
list.
Fantastic.
Oh, he's
'cause
wonderful.
I would,
He's wonderful.
absolutely lovely.
But yeah, and then of course I've got 3 kids and a husband and a house that I'm a stay-at-home mom. So all paying the bills, cleaning the house, all of that's on me. Running the kids to taekwondo and to whatever, like, and then doing
that's a full-time job
and...
within itself as
I
well.
feel you, Brittany.
You know?
I feel you. I've got 2 kids and a dog, and a very demanding husband. No, I'm kidding. He's very easy going, actually. But I've got a ticket and voucher printing business. So I
saw that on LinkedIn.
Yeah,
that's pretty cool. Are you going to do anything with that in Bitcoin?
I'd love to, but I'm in business with my brother, and he's like the laziest programmer alive. So I have an uphill battle trying to get him to overhaul the business. But we have written quite a lot of code over the years, but nothing released yet. We should, because that's the business we're in, and it would be an obvious thing to do. But trying to get code out of my brother is like trying to get blood from a stone.
How
basically.
cool would it be? Because I saw that you make the little the paper bracelets that you put on when you like go to an event or a club or something. Things. How cool would it be if those were like NFT'd or tokenized or whatever, so that it's like a personal identity. So you put one on and it has an NFT that's specifically for that bracelet, and then you can go to pay, or I don't know. There's so many things that you can.
No, but there are though. I mean, just QR codes are dead easy, to add. So it's no issue really. I mean, it's a very, very obvious thing too. What I quite like to do myself, because I'm the graphic designer. I do all the graphic design work for the business, and what I'd quite like to do is create tickets for events that are a bit like NFT keepsakes, because I think there's a lot of mileage there in, a bit like with record album covers. That used to be a thing and it's not really anymore, but people do still love the art that's associated with their favorite album, right? I mean,
you see a lot of it on people's walls, because they'll get a frame and stuff, and actually like you told,
but like a ticket from an event that's got some nice art associated with it.
I went to see Stormzy. I've been waiting 2 years to go and see Stormzy, because they literally because of the pandemic and stuff, so he got cancelled twice, and I didn't have a ticket, and he was in Nottingham, and I rung up and there was a ticket, and I went, and it was phenomenal, and it's now on my wall. Because I am never going to get rid of the evidence that I actually did manage to go and see Stormzy. So things like that. If you imagine if you were, you went to see the Beatles in the 60s and you still got an original ticket from one of those,
that would be worth a lot of money.
There is a lot of, this is where like Micah as well with Ticketman is kind of where she's coming from, because she's a musician, so she's kind of sees the value in that side of things as well. So
Greg Ward's Ticketman is capable of doing a lot of different things. I'm really interested in the technology behind that. He's building a lot of stuff out in the space right now. But I know we're coming. We originally planned for 30 minutes, but I've had such a great time, lovely time talking with you ladies that we rolled over. But so I guess we're gonna go ahead and start wrapping it up here. Is there anything that perhaps you'd like to that you felt like I should have asked you but didn't? And if there's any question that you felt like I should have asked you, how would you have responded to it? What would have been your answer to it?
No, I don't think so.
I think you asked really good. Yeah, I think you're really good at interviewing people, and you have such a great kind of energy with that as well, which is which is really nice in this space. And the only thing I keep forgetting to say is when because I'm going to brag a little bit here, but I do want to make a point of this, is that when I finished my master's, I got a master's in metaphysical sciences, but I also became an ordained reverend. And as soon as I became an ordained reverend, I was banned from Twitter and I was banned from LinkedIn. And now I don't, this is might be coincidental, but it was just really strange. Because it's all, you know.
Did he seem sort of on a mission to get banned from everywhere? I think it was it's like ticking them off.
But yeah, no, otherwise, I think you're really good at interviewing people, and I love watching. I mean, I don't get as much chance as I really want to see everything. But I love
No,
the
I
energy
don't. But I do try and catch up with it. Yeah. Your shows are terrific. Absolutely terrific.
Thank you, guys.
And it's good to see another woman in the space
it's so nice.
that's actually doing interviews. Yeah,
I love it.
And thank you for the advice.
The women in BSV are fucking killing it.
Yes, there's more women doing podcasts than there
Yeah.
are men right now. The women are really leading the charge right now, in my opinion, and that's kind of cool.
Also building. I mean, we've got
Absolutely.
a lot of projects that I probably don't really want to talk about because they're only halfway through. But yeah, there's a lot going on.
I'm really excited to see Molly Match because I think Ray is going to do a really great job of Molly Match, and the Juro Dogs is so good. I'm really looking forward to seeing this as well, Molly Match with the cats and everything. So,
well, ladies, I appreciate you coming on the show today, sharing your wealth of knowledge with me. But I do think that is going to wrap it up for us today. Make sure, everybody, that you hit the like and subscribe button, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Thanks. Bye.
Thank you for watching. Please make sure to like the video, subscribe to our channel, and leave a comment below. Share this video with a friend, and also follow us on Twitter at BrittanyBits.